I can visually see online and in the room that we have not only a quorum, but we have every member of the committee. So it's wonderful. So do I have proof of notification, Adam? Okay. We have a 19-point agenda, although number 9 is redundant, but do I have a motion to accept the agenda? Okay, Dan McGuire moves, second. Ingrid Glassman seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so anyone opposed? Okay, so we're going to do a consent agenda for the approval of the monthly expenditures, and they're all on your iPad online. Are there any questions for extension, Michael? I'm pretty sure that I lost her name. Derek will be here later. Stephanie, Derek, yeah, right? Yeah, because I told her it was going to be it. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the monthly expenditures?
I'll make the motion.
Mark Cooey moves. Do I have a second? Chad Cosgrove seconds. Okay, we're going to go into closed session. Oh, yeah, do I have a motion? I forgot, sorry. Everyone read the January 9th minutes? Any questions, any corrections? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Mark Cooey moves and Barb Boyce seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion accepted. The minutes are approved. Now we're going to go into the closed session. So, do I have anyone opposed to going into closed session? Okay, the closed session is going to be everyone but, sorry, Christine and Michael. And I know from Barb, John, that we have to wait 1 minute after closed session to come out, because it takes 1 minute, right?
However long it takes us.
Yeah. Session.
Yeah.
Mark moves, Ingrid seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have no one opposed. Okay, does everyone, so, all in favor of going, we passed the motion, right? No, we haven't done that yet. We're going to open session.
He's gonna write the motion.
Okay, so now, we have to wait till you're on. Are we on? Okay, now we can take a motion to, as the education committee is voting that there's now going to go back and ask again, which our counselor said he already knows how to do, to follow through on having East Hall be removed from the lease agreement with the UW system. Does that make sense? Mike?
Yes, I'm just thinking of the wording of it.
Is Mike still out there, Mike Compton? He might have left. Oh, that's good. No, he's on the WebEx. Yeah,
So this is my chicken scratch right now. Motion to have resolution to request removal of East Hall from.
we got him. He's online. Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Mark Cooey makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Bob will second it.
Okay, I would like a roll call.
Can I
Can
just
we
ask one question?
Yeah,
So I think I might be comfortable voting for it after hearing what Mr. Wendell said in closed session, that it's our intent to do this. That language will get into the resolution. It's our intent to work with the Board of Regents to have East Hall removed from the lease agreement. It's not that we can do it by just saying it. It's that we are working toward that. Is that right?
Mike?
Yes. So the added language there would be, how does it read currently?
So my chicken scratch right now says motion to have resolution to request removal of East Hall from MOA with the Board of Regents.
Do I have everybody's papers here?
I retained mine, but I'll keep them
That's
safe, I
okay.
promise.
Okay.
I just want it to be really clear that we cannot promise the high school or whoever wants to use East Hall in the future, whatever party that may be, that they can use East Hall. We cannot
We
promise
can
that
tell
to
them
any-
that we're in the process of it.
That,
Okay.
that language will be in the resolution itself that I end up drafting, is that it is the intent of the Richland County Board of Supervisors to remove the East Hall from the campus agreement. But yes, I am trying to be very clear about the fact that we cannot do this unilaterally, and the resolution will reflect that.
I just don't want to hear a bunch of like rumors or newspaper articles that, that the county board removed East Hall from the campus, because we did not do that. It's our intent to do it. But we obviously have to work with the Board of Regents and get their agreement as well. So.
Madam Chair, this is Bob. I got a quick comment then too.
Yes, Bob.
Should this also include the road and the bridges and going along with the city project that was discussed recently, or is that another topic? For
I
a
think
later
that's
time?
I think that's another topic, because they're looking into whether the county can also get the grant for those roads.
Okay, never mind then.
No, good point.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Barb.
I just want to say that I agree with what Sean is saying. Make sure that we have the word intent in there. I'm much more comfortable with that resolution with the word intent.
Okay.
That's it.
Is that what you have, Adam?
I don't.
The intent will be in the resolution itself.
Okay.
To the extent I could prevent you, I would not allow you to pass something saying that you're committing to something that you cannot do unilaterally.
Okay. All right. Roll call vote.
We got Mark,
All right,
Bob,
Is it Bob? Yeah,
Ingrid,
You gotta talk louder. Aye.
Barb,
Aye.
Dan,
no,
Sean,
Aye.
Chad,
aye.
Aye.
carries.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, we're in open session, and we're going to go on to number 10, update on the leaking East Hall roof. Do you have any more on that yet?
We have a report back from Jim that somebody from Malley did stop
Yeah.
out and looked at the roof. I don't know if Jim couldn't confirm if they fixed it or not. Have you had any additional leaking that you've seen on the flat? Not at all. But it's been addressed with Malley for them knowing on it. We have to do the follow-up now to see when they were out there, if they actually did a patching and what that looked like.
Okay, good. Okay, number 11, update on agreement with STR SEG to conduct a design service. That's on our iPads.
So, well, 11, we should be good on. We've entered into the agreement. We're looking at 12 for the discussion and possible action on the recommending the resolution of the Wall Student Center roof replacement today, but that is underneath 11 in your documents. Looking today, and Russ is here to speak on it, a contract with Interstate Roofing for to complete the work for the proposed UW Platteville Richland Wallace Student Center roof as presented on the bid form for the areas, and then I'll send to county board for approval. I will pull up the shared document here.
There's
And
a microphone here. You have to.
Russ, if we can have you come up and kind of walk us through the results from the bid and the different elements of it, if you will. Make sure I have a document here on the screen. Is this where you'd like to talk from, sir?
Two bids were received. Interstate Roofing is the low on the base and majority of the alternates. It's my understanding that you had $100,000 approved for work.
That is how much is in our short-term borrowing for the project, yes, 100,000.
Which then leaves you with inability to do all the areas on Wallace. The main area that's leaking is the base bid, which is roof area 10 at $18,725. And then to get close to the 100, you can pick 3 of the smaller low areas. As my understanding that none of the areas currently are leaking. Okay.
Thank you, Ingrid. I will keep you up to date.
So
I thought there was a leaking in the stage and that you were
In the
covering.
stage, correct, but
Yeah.
that's the base bid.
Okay,
And now you have enough money in that 100 to do 3 of the small, low areas, none of which are presently leaking. So it's a 6 of one, half dozen other, which of the 3 you want to pick. You don't have enough money to do the main upper portion, which is another 91,000, which would take you to 900, 110 plus thousand.
So you have enough money to do right here by the dampers here, right? Or, I'm
Correct,
sorry,
it's only 18,725.
and then the other option, if you wanted to extend that, is you could pick 3 of these flat sections, but I don't know if we'd want to do that, or if you would just want to focus your funds. Do we still have a quorum, Madam?
yeah, we do. We have
Okay.
3 online and 2.
Perfect. So you still have, I mean, the main leak right now, Russ, and correct me if I'm wrong, is by these dampers right here, and that's our
Correct.
main problem. And you can do that for, on here, the base bid for that area interstate roofing is the 18,725, correct, Russ? And that's kind of the main area. So if you want to extend out past that, you know, unfortunately, we don't have enough then to do that entire main flat section with that area, because those are 2 different
We'll
bids.
have to wait to hear more from the foundation too on some of that, so.
Okay?
So which ones would you suggest? Maybe Mike Compton has a suggestion?
I would have to reach back out to him, and I'm not sure exactly how much the foundation has committed towards this
They're
project.
having a meeting tonight, so we'll see whether we can.
I guess at a minimum, I think you should approve the base bid to move
Yes.
that ahead
Yes.
with that. I guess, Russ, at this point, if we did base bid, we could do change order in the near future to encompass more roof. I don't know
And the
how
other-
that would work.
As long as the contractor's on site,
Okay,
Okay,
because
Okay,
the
good.
mobilization is in the base bid also.
yeah,
okay. So if we do the, if we,
Remobilize to come back, but correct, you could add at a later date any of the other areas that you wanted to add.
so if we're comfortable moving the base bid, that gets us a contract in place. It gets us hopefully on the summer schedule for 2023 yet. And they're going to be on the ground. You'd have a couple months potentially to decide if you have enough money to do.
we'll put it
more of
on that,
those.
keep putting it on then.
Does that sound correct, Russ?
Probably a month that, as soon as he gets a contract, he's looking at starting,
Okay.
as long as the weather's clear.
Oh, wow.
He
Okay.
wants
We
to
like
He
that.
wants to get it in and done before his schoolwork and all the other work starts up.
Okay, so this is a spring project.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe then,
Well,
you-
maybe we should have it on the March, should we discuss it for the March meeting?
I think if you want to make sure we get him lined up for the
Yeah.
spring before he gets into his
No.
heavy projects, that we would take action on the
Well, we
base
take
bid
action
today.
today, but then pick the other areas in the March meeting. Does that make sense?
I'm with you, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
All right.
Madam
we have a
Chair, I'll make a
motion.
I'll
Yeah.
make a motion to move forward with interstate roofing for the base bid only with a request for discussion.
Okay, motion by Sean Murphy Lopez. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Dan McGuire seconds it. Discussion.
Okay, so I'm glad that we can fix the leak with the roughly 18 grand. Because I was hearing that we wouldn't be able to get this done for less than $100,000. But I'm not certain that I believe, based on what I've heard so far, that we should be replacing additional roofs and spending that additional money to get up to 100,000. I believe there are going to be other issues that are going to come up at the campus, like did last year, where we weren't able to cover all of our campus maintenance requirements using our operating costs. And so I think it's too soon to start jumping into, and let's do a bunch of other roofs. We got to prioritize and make sure we're handling our emergencies and staying within budget. So let's hold off on the other stuff. That's my opinion.
Any other discussion like that? Well, we can decide that at the March meeting also, right, Sean?
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm maybe stating my position for then because I don't know that we need to be discussing that is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I
I think
understand that.
we're working on the big problem here.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Barb.
If we have this contract for the main one for 18,000, are we guaranteed, if we decide next month to go add more, are we guaranteed the same prices that are listed here? Or could they change? You know, the alternative prices that are listed for the alternative areas, are we guaranteed those, or could that change next month to more?
It can always change because it's not under contract. However,
Yeah.
I would very much doubt that Interstate would change his number. Prices would have to substantially increase material-wise for him to do that. And I just don't see that. He's done work out there. He loves you guys as a client. And I think while you're not guaranteed, you have a relatively good assurance that you're gonna get these same numbers as a change order in.
Okay.
Are we ready for the question? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Stephanie. We've already approved your bills. I saw that you were 4,000 this month. Last month you were in the positive. This month you were 4,000 in the negative, right? So want to tell us about what's happening?
Well,
Talk
you know,
right into it.
sales are tricky. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. We also have had some freezer issues which needed repairs. Other than that, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, you're having a big steak dinner, right?
There is one tomorrow. Yep.
So that should bring some revenue, right?
They are using the building, but it is the fairground committee that, you know, makes the revenue from that. They have purchased some things and will make some revenue from it, but most of that goes somewhere else.
So they're using your kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to pay for that.
Yes, they will.
Okay. Have anything else coming up?
We have our weekly take and bake items that people are purchasing. Some people purchase them 5 meals at a time. Superama still is going on. So
I'm getting my lasagna soup this week.
I know.
Any other questions for Stephanie? Yeah, it's wonderful.
It is.
Put him on the mailing list.
I can.
The
you wanna-
soup is great. Okay, well, you can get the cook. I have it every night.
Do you want to send me an email and I'll add you to that list? Thank you.
Any other questions for Stephanie? Your budget tracking, we saw you're on track for this. Yeah?
So if I'm very honest, oh, did I shut it off? No.
But you gotta talk right into it.
Yes. So I haven't been shown very much about the budget things from Cindy, and I think that's because she wasn't a part of those things. So if there's somebody that can walk me through some of that stuff so that I have a better understanding, that would be great.
So should she make an appointment with Tammy, or who should she make an appointment with?
Reach out to me and we'll get you with Tammy Wheelock.
Okay.
And it's Derek Kalish on
Yeah,
review.
and that'll be good. They'll get you up to speed.
Okay.
Great, good. Keep asking. And I know you and I discussed some of the catering, and you're looking into all the issues with that.
We are trying to figure out how to manage the comp time and, all of those things that go along with some of the extra things that we are able to do.
Mhm.
So
I understand the complication. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, Adam. Yeah. Any thoughts, Clint? Not that you have to have the answer.
It's going to come down to Adam and I have talked and we've done a little diagram on understanding placements, and placements are pretty much at this point is what I see as kind of a maybe 3 option. First one would be a not knowing what's going to happen with the rest of the campus, a Melville. Option 2 is a HHS type of an option. I don't know exactly. I'm assuming that there's abilities to reposition people, but we're going to have to also though consider their needs and your folks' differences on the building securities and different access to different records and those types of things that would have to be worked out. The other option would be some way, shape, or form fit you into this building here. So those would be the 3 options that we'll be talking about probably intensely in the next days to weeks, Adam.
Sounds like fun.
Any thoughts, Chelsea? Okay.
And I do know that
Yeah.
We do have one state specialist that's already housed in Melville Hall, but it's separate I don't deal with that one. That's a separate contract with Madison, and I guess that's kind of where we've been stuck to, is understanding what is Platteville going to still be tied? What are they going to have for space to keep up?
Well, I think Platteville's leaving.
Completely. So I don't know where that status is. I know there was some conversation, but I think,
We're not talking with them.
so Melville would be definitely for us if we got between the 3 locations, it would definitely be the most.
Concur. I think it's going to also be understanding like in the locations, if we can make a course of action for each one, but then understand what that timeline looks like and a checklist on each thing. So when we do get a better idea, we can pull the switch on one of them and know that it's how long it's going to take to get there.
Remind me, we're going to have to pull MIS into those conversations.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, most definitely.
Who's in, is it Peggy Olive's old position? Who's in?
No, our state outreach line specialist is actually host.
Will you send me the name of that?
His name is.
No, right, just email me.
Okay.
Yeah. And is he paying for that? Could you find that out? Okay. That would be very important to our working right now.
Mike, do you know if what the agreement is with Jeff's office space? I don't think it was.
Mike, come in? Can you hear Adam?
I can barely hear him, but I know what you're talking about. So I'll have to go look it up. If he's paying something, it's not very much.
I know when Peggy was there, it was pretty minimal. It might have been like 75 or 100 a month. Something's low cost like that, just kind of cover base expenses kind of thing.
Okay. All right. So, you want to do it? I don't know.
It's up to you.
What do you guys, does everyone have time to listen to Chelsea? She's waited several months.
Yeah. But I don't know how much time you want for your.
How long do you want?
You can go 5 minutes. Okay.
Why don't you go 10 and we can finish the other 10?
I will share up here on the.
Yeah, and it's on our iPads.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right. Well, we have gotten questions a little bit in extension about how we determine our focus of our programming. And I guess, yeah, how extension is different than some other university resources. So I am kind of using myself and my program area as an example of how those types of decisions are made by sharing that it really is bringing the university resources back home with extension educators who live and work in communities across the state. So we are focusing on Richland County and where we come up with the types of programs and services that we offer through extension. So as many of you know, Extension at one point was its own branch within the UW system, but has now within the last 3 years or so moved under the umbrella of UW-Madison. So that means that our research focus of specialists and such that we have are mostly aligned with UW-Madison, but we also connect to research from other institutions in Wisconsin and globally. So really looking at university research that's done in multiple program areas and what can it offer our community. And we think about that as a two-way street between the specialists who are doing that research. And so this is an example of one who I work with through the program area on family financial security. And so, you know, he has these different research focus that are, you know, global in nature or different specificities. And then we look at how does that connect to the wants and needs of people in Richland County? What do they want to learn about? So an example of his research really looks at disability and retirement and access to some of those things. And then we have a curriculum that we put together called Planning Ahead, which is looking at end-of-life decisions for the everyday person. So then we offered that this last year at the Lone Rock Library as well as online. So kind of finding those ways to translate the research papers into actual curricula and information that the people here can use. And then also, yeah, that two-way street of feeding that back up to them about what are people in Wisconsin interested in having the research of the university look at and kind of having that pipeline. And Extension can serve that role. Within the area that I work in, we have 3 focus areas. So there are multiple institutes within Extension. Many people know agriculture and 4-H. We do have those represented in Richland County through my colleagues. The area that I work in is called Human Development and Relationships. And so within that, there are then 3 program areas, which we choose to specialize in or pull information from in terms of those curricula and services that we offer to our community. So the one that I've been most closely aligned with is the financial education, but we also offer parenting and family relationships and lifespan education within that Human Development Relationships Institute. For example, reason I need to leave at 3:30 is we are doing a parent cafe at the primary school this evening in conjunction with, they already have a parent family event going on. So yeah, kind of looking for those opportunities to take the resources and then find the places to plug them in here. And then, so yeah, how do we kind of pick and choose which of those things to bring to the community? There is, sort of a triangulation between a state program plan of work. So for Wisconsin as a whole, them looking at the state and saying, these are areas of focus. These are things that within Extension, within Human Development Relationships, we should have our educators doing in the state and focusing on, and it's kind of, tying back to that research and those approved curricula and stuff like that. So every year or 2, there's a state program plan of work. And so I would review that. I'm kind of part of creating that as an Extension educator, feeding into it. But knowing that the work I do, for the most part, should align with that state program plan of work. I can have some creativity and leeway to do some other things outside of that as well. But that really is a guidepost for the types of programs that we bring in. And so that would be the same for, if our agriculture educator was talking about how does she choose? Well, does it align with that state program plan of work? If not, then we need to be a little more intentional about justifying why we should be doing that with our Extension time. But in addition to that, so kind of the triangulation of that is then we also create an individual plan of work. And I have, kind of the idea that there are multiple things that feed into that. It's that state program plan of work represented by the W there. So our kind of our, top-down Madison directive of these are the things our institute should be working on. But it's also in an equation with, what do the people of Richland County want? What is localized and specific to our population here? I also put the calendar on there because it's very seasonal in terms of what time of year is it and what should we be doing across an annual plan of work for an individual educator. For For example, we have Get Real coming up in April. So that's something that takes my time for a few months at the beginning of the year, but then after that it's put to bed and we don't continue working on it for the rest of the year. So then that opens up time to offer different programming after that. And then I put in there, you know, the specific educator as well. I feel like that's part of the equation, depending on who you hire and what their, you know, educational background is, professional interest, and what they really want to work on. So there's kind of some leeway within there of knowing what the state plan is, knowing what happens throughout the year, knowing what your community wants, and also, yeah, what does that person have a specialty and interest in wanting to offer? So yeah, kind of answering that question of what do we spend our time on? But there's still room within there, flexibility for emerging needs as things come up. If there's something that the community thinks should be addressed and we feel that it's a fit with an extension. So I just was going to give kind of an example of, you know, one program which we have talked about here before and how we crafted that within an individual plan of work. It includes the third-party data review. So what do we know about our community from, you know, data that's available, whether that's public health data or education data or things like that. Stakeholder conversations, what do we know from talking to different people in the community, whether those are community leaders or, you know, regular everyday people that we talk to about, oh, I really want to learn more about this. I'd be interested in that. Does extension do this? And then, yeah, where do we have some local community partners who want to work together? Even if the state plan of work says this is a really exciting idea, everyone should be doing this, and we see the data need, we don't really like to do things alone. We want to have those partners, like I mentioned, going to the elementary school and doing it there. We want that willing partner that wants to work with us in extension. If we don't have that, then it kind of scoots that one back on the priority list of nobody here is really want to work on that, so we're going to pick something else. So those things together are what we really think about as a community assessment, and then having that be reviewed by both program managers that are kind of that subject specific, and then our area extension director who is looking at a region and kind of piecing that work together, you know, in the broader picture as well. So the example that I was going to bring forward is the Juntos program. Juntos means together in Spanish. This is a picture that we took this past summer. We did kind of an add-on to that with a food, fun, and fitness class. We brought one of the parents back into that as an actual teacher with us. So she was teaching some of the other kids there how to make corn tortillas from scratch. And so we are in the process of launching that Juntos program for the second time this year now. And just kind of, yeah, how we pull that together from third-party data, stakeholder conversations, and then, yeah, those partners who want to work together to do that community assessment. So like this is an example of third-party data review, and I've brought this forward and some of the other things that I've been interested in working on before. Juntos program is looking at academic success specifically for Hispanic or Latinx students, specifically in the transition from middle to high school, and then opportunities for post-secondary education. So how do we know that there's a need for that in our community? Well, we can take a look at some of our school numbers, which are available from the Department of Public Instruction. So we can say, what is our current graduation rate for Richland School District compared to statewide? Do we have room to improve? Do we have room to move the needle? I look at this and I say, yes, we have room to get up to statewide or even surpass statewide. There are some students who aren't graduating that maybe they could if they had a little more support. Since this program is specifically looking at the Hispanic community, what percentage of our students are Hispanic? So thus would be part of a program like this. So we see that that percentage is continuing to grow over time, and especially in the younger demographics. So we say this program probably has a good reason to be here in Richland County when we know there's room to improve graduation rates and we have a growing percentage of Hispanic or Latino students. And then we also look at, you know, do they go on to post-secondary education? And we can collect those numbers for all the different districts around the area and compare, you know, kind of what is the mean or the average or median for the area, what percentage of students graduate high school, and then say they're going on to post-secondary school and actually enroll that first fall after they graduate high school. And so like we can see here for Richland, for the most recent numbers we have 62% of Richland School District seniors that are enrolling in a post-secondary program. And then we can see the breakdown of that 62%, 28% are going to a 2-year school and 70% are going to a 4-year school. So again, to me, take a look at this and say, okay, the statewide number is 58%. So we're pretty close to that statewide average here in our area, but there's also a fair amount of fluctuation from district to district. And it's interesting to kind of keep an eye on that and say, well, is there room to push that up? And then do we want to work with this specific population? And the piece that I would say about that in terms of those I'll just go back, the stakeholder conversations, a part of that was, yeah, talking to parents and families and hearing them say that, yeah, we really do want more information. That some of the Spanish speaking parents are saying, it's kind of hard when they transition into middle school, and instead of just having one homeroom teacher that we knew like they did when they were in second and third grade, and we know the teacher and we know the translator and we know everything and we get all the information, then they go into middle school and all of a sudden they're changing classes, they have choices of different classes, and this is a totally different system. If I grew up in a different country, I really don't know how to help my kid anymore. And then that just kind of magnifies as they got into high school. And then all of a sudden the courses are for credit. And if you don't have the right credits, you can't graduate. And, you have to save for higher education or finance it. So it's a complicated system. And we heard that from parents of, we'd like to be able to support our kids more. We honestly don't know how. And we're feeling left out. So that's kind of the stakeholder conversations. And then the piece about willing partners is that, yeah, we've actually had, with the successful launch of that Juntos program this last year, and this was Carlene Craddock, our 4-H educator, and myself working together on this. She was able to get the monies from the Wisconsin 4-H Foundation to help support that. I worked with the Multicultural Outreach Program to get their financial support. And then this coming year, we actually created a partnership with the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, their Continuing Education Institute, with some monies that they got from the We Energies Foundation, looking to also do outreach to Hispanic and Latino students around college readiness. And so we were able to say, well, we have a program, we've got something ready to go, and you have a source of support. So now we have an additional willing partnership with interest in them in doing college visit down to Platteville and providing some resources for the supplies and stuff that we need. So that's just kind of an example of how those things can build together to say, this is a right fit, this is a right program for our community, and thus we're going to continue it. Whereas if, one of those legs of the stool is a little wobbly, it makes it harder to say that this is where we want to spend our time in terms of extension programming. So that's really it. And this is a picture just, of some of those teens and preteens who participated in that program last year. Hope to see that continue to be successful here for our community.
Thank you very much. That's a very good overview. I just want to say, if any of you are not working at Get Real, we usually have said that if you're on the county board, you should be working at Get Real. It's an outstanding program. So I highly recommend you contact Chelsea if you can volunteer. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
First of all, I'm impressed with your energy that you put into your job. You impressed me that you're being very serious about what you do. But I have a question about, you mentioned it quickly about the Lone Rock Library, and that I only live 2 blocks from that building, and my daughter was the library director there for 2 years. She's downtown here, but what's going on with the Lone Rock Library?
Recently I had heard that they had lost their paid staff person, and so that they were kind of in limbo of exactly what their hours and stuff were. So this was before that. So they did have a dedicated librarian at that time. I think that's something that Adam and I have talked about with kind of coming out of COVID time, really trying to have our programs not only be in Richland Center, because we are a Richland County extension, and it can be harder to find those community spaces in some of the outlying communities. The Lone Rock Library was a good one. We pulled some people from Avoca, Muscadet, Bear Valley, so the people that came there weren't just Lone Rock, but that was central to that location, as opposed to having it in Richland Center and saying you have to drive here. So I would say it was a success, but what's specifically happening with the library, I'm not sure right now until they get a paid staff person, then we try to reach back out with them.
You should text or email Barb Voice. She's the county board representative on the Lone Rock Library.
I can tell you that they do have a full-time, or not a full-time, a part-time paid librarian now. So you could reach out to him.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chelsea, and thank you for being patient with us. And I just highly impressed always with your work. Okay, Mike Compton, we're ready. Campus update or monthly maintenance report. We have it on our iPads.
All right, thank you. Just to quickly go over the building and grounds report. As you can see, we had several projects that were completed in early January, late December. We are still waiting for invoices from Precision Control and from Works Plumbing and Heating for the work that's been done there. I noticed I needed to make a correction. It says the urinals in the men's bathrooms not working in Melville. That was just that project was just completed, so we're waiting for an invoice from Wertz on those on fixing that that work as well. The only other thing I have on here is with the science room, the drinking fountains. I know last fall they had suggested that we could go ahead and replace that. I'm just wondering what you're thinking. At this point in time, what we've been doing is putting out bottled drinking water for folks that are in the science building, since neither of the drinking fountains are working. But just wanted to know if you wanted to go ahead and replace that, or if you'd like to just keep that project on hold.
Is that 3,000 to 4,000 for each one?
I think the thought was we would only replace one of them.
Okay.
That's for one. From what we could see online, it's about 1,500 to 2,000 for one drinking fountain for a replacement, because no one can find the parts
Uh-huh.
for fixing what's there. So it would be putting in a completely new unit, and then we estimate the labor would be at least the cost of the purchase price of the unit. So we were estimating 3,000 to 4,000.
Is the drinking fountain in Melville Hall outside Pippin Conference Center working?
Yeah, to my knowledge, the ones in
Okay.
both of them in Melville are working. Yeah.
It was a while back. It wasn't. That's why I was just curious. How are we on our budget for this year?
For this fiscal year, I think when you look at the budget tracker, if we did spend or if we spent out the 2022 money on the invoices that were submitted last month, then we haven't spent anything from 2023 yet.
Yeah. How many students are in Science Hall right now? About?
Well, at any given time, it could be all 43 of them, because almost all the classes that we're offering are in the science building right now.
And doesn't it cost money to buy the water bottle?
Well, yeah, we've just been buying them out of our budget. Yeah.
What do the rest of you think? Should we fix the fountain? Any comment? Bob?
This is Bob. I say go ahead and fix it. I know we don't know what the whole picture is, but to not have it there and be spending money on water, at some point it should be fixed anyway. That's my 2 cents.
That I agree with you. We're working on a capital fundraising campaign, but we haven't quite got it organized yet. Anybody else? Bob, is that a motion? Bob, is that a motion? Well, I'll move to replace the drinking fountain. Do I have a second? Okay. I can't tell if Sean, Bob, and Barb are on. Are you on?
I'm on.
There I go.
Sean?
Sorry, my mute wouldn't come off. So,
Yep,
yeah, I
okay.
agree
I'm
with
here.
that.
I'm here also.
Okay, all in favor of replacing the drinking fountain, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, Mike, go ahead and replace it.
Okay, and if it would for some odd reason come back at 5,000 or more, we would go through the bidding process like
Okay.
you normally would. So,
Thank you.
alrighty, yeah, thank you.
Anything else that you want to share?
Not a lot. I think the today at Collegium we just gave a reminder that for everybody that we'll be holding our recognition event on Friday, May 5th. That's where we'll be recognizing students that are graduating this year, as well as those receiving scholarships and faculty and staff awards. So our recognition night is set for the 5th of May, that Friday evening now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Anybody have questions for Mike? Thank you, and I'm sorry, I'm glad you went back to work.
Well, I thought it was probably the best thing to do, not knowing how long, and then
I think
can,
that was a good decision.
yeah, probably the best one of the day for me. Yeah.
Okay, do we have any items specifically for March 13th? Obviously, we have a lot of things that we've been discussing today we'll be back on. Anybody have anything new?
Nope.
Do I have any public on that wants to give a comment? Is Barb Wentz back on?
Yes, I am. No comment.
Okay. Anybody, I don't have any correspondence. Anybody else? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting to, wait a minute, I didn't look up the date myself. To the, we might meet again, we said.
It
Right
should
now,
be should be the same date.
March 13th, you're right. February and March are always the same.
You bet, unless there's a
Yeah.
leap year.
Yeah, but it won't have Valentine's Day the next day. Okay.
I'll move to adjourn.
That's right, St. Patty's Day. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and everybody, I hope you get some chocolate tomorrow.